Yeah, the Washington Commanders. You're dead to me. Three weeks to go in the regular season. So as Michael Jordan would say,
Nut crunching time.
yeah, roll tape. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Uncle Dan's Best Bets here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel, presented by Connors and Ferris. Before we get into the picks, as always, it's housekeeping. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Mike, Jen, and I really appreciate it. Help this channel grow. Pause it. All right, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. Comment in with your best play of the week. Really appreciate it as always. Talking about guys like Ian and Basil and Eric, seeing your comments. Appreciate all the comments too about doing the videos from home and well wishes to my family. We really appreciate it as always. Also, shout out to Bob Johnson Auto Group. I've always talked about them. They are the proud sponsor of Uncle Dan's Best Bets. My wife and I just recently picked up a new Kia Telluride for the third row for the kids. We went out and worked with Daryl out in Leroy. It's the best. So shout out to Bob Johnson Auto Group. Buying, leasing, trading in, anything like that. You need a car, head out to Bob Johnson. Tell them that Uncle Dan sent you. Okay, last week, as I've mentioned, Washington Commanders, they are dead to me, blowing a double-digit fourth quarter lead to ruin our teaser that I absolutely loved. That was tough. Seattle no-showed at home. The Lions got away from the run early, ruining the Jahmyr Gibbs one, and then Khalil Shakir wasn't really all that involved. So that is how we end up with a 5-5 week. You know, they say when I was growing up, it was always a tie's like kissing your sister. So that's where it is. So 5-5 weeks, scuffling a little bit on the season now, 59, 58, and 5. Just one game over 500, not good enough. 3 weeks to go in the regular season. As Michael Jordan would say, it is nut crunching time. And I will say this. I am done with double-digit cards. They've been awful this season for Uncle Dan. They have just been bad for us. I showed a lot of restraint this week trimming down my card. I'm recording this on Thursday, back to work. Everything is status quo. And I showed a lot of restraint with some of the plays that I kind of liked and just didn't want to put the card on because it was going to get to double digits. So I'm not scared because I say scared money don't make money. But I'm absolutely wanted to keep this card a little bit smaller because the bigger cards have been a problem for me. So 7 plays for week 16. And we will start on Saturday. I like the Steelers plus 6.5 at the Ravens. This is just a spot where you follow the trends and the history. This is a spot where, you know, I always joke around Mike Tomlin as a home dog. You don't think, you just throw. This is one of those spots. Crazy numbers to back up this play. That if it doesn't hit, that's fine. I know this is the right play. Okay. When the line is 3 or more in a Steelers-Ravens game over the last 20 years, the underdog is 23, 4, and 3 against the spread. That's nuts. And I think earlier this year, we backed the dog in this spot because since 2015, underdogs in this matchup are 16, 2, and 1. Like, this is just an underdog spot. Lamar Jackson has historically struggled in his 5 games against the Steelers. In this spot, he's averaging just 19 points per game offensively and a passer rating of 66.2. He just hasn't played well against the Steelers historically. This is just one of those spots where no Pickens. It looks like TJ Watt's going to play. It's at home. All of these things. Massive game for the AFC North. And I'm just going to back the dog. These teams always play close games. I don't think this is a sucker line, but if it is, call me a sucker. I will take the Steelers plus 6.5 at the Baltimore Ravens. I will also take the under in this game. I talked about Lamar Jackson's stats, just 19 points per game in his 5 career games against the Steelers, where he is 1-5 in his career. There have been 8 straight games that have gone under. Earlier this year, the over in week 11 was like 48 because the offenses were humming. They scored 35 points. 8 straight games have gone under in this matchup. It's now down to 45. I still like the under. This is just one of those old school grind out football games. So I will take the under, and I'm on the Steelers plus the points. Those are my plays on Saturday. Moving forward to Sunday, the Lions -6.5 at the Bears. I have been on the wrong side of the Bears a lot recently. We were on the right side earlier this season. The Lions have a ton of injuries, all of these things. But after listening to Dan Campbell talk on the radio after the Bills loss, I have a ton of faith that this team will bounce back. And they are also 9-0 against the spread in their last 9 games following a loss. This is a team that I think gets back to being a tough-nosed physical team. Dan Campbell said they got used to eating filet mignon and they got to get back to eating the moldy bread. Like, he's cursing on the radio. You learn a lot more from losses than you do wins. And Dan Campbell's like, of course, we win 11 games in a row and the sky's falling. No, we're going to get back to doing whatever it takes. If we give up 40 points, we got to score 41. I love this. I think this is a Lions team that will come out hungry to prove a point. And this Bears team is just in total dysfunction. At home, I think it's actually a disadvantage for the Bears because I think the fans are actually going to turn on them. So, injuries aside, I still like the Lions in this spot to win by a touchdown. Even going outdoors, all of these things, I still like the Lions, a Dan Campbell-led team bouncing back, 9-0 against the spread following their last 9 losses. Another trend in that same spot, I'll take the Rams -3 at the Jets. We're taking some road favorites that were 7-0 against the spread last week on the road. So how about this for you? The Rams, 14-2 against the spread in their last 16 December games. Sean McVay gets things right late in the year. This team is playing good ball. They've gotten extra rest because they played on the Thursday night, the night before. I always love good coaches with extra time. So I will lay the small number as Aaron Rodgers talks about and all of these things. I love this Rams team playing good football, fighting for a playoff spot, needing to get it done against a Jets team that is hopeless. And their quarterback is on a radio show talking about God knows what. That's what I'll say. I got 3 more plays for the 7-pack for the week. I was on it for 2 weeks in a row. I got scared after it lost one time. I'm back on it. I want Jonnu Smith over 47.5 receiving yards. The Dolphins are facing the 49ers. Jonnu Smith is becoming a top 5 tight end in the league over the last 6 weeks. He didn't play at all the one game we bet him the second week until the end. Now he caught another. He was targeted 11 times again last week. So I like Jonnu Smith over 47.5 receiving yards. He's been Tua's go-to guy minus the one game that we bet him. Didn't bet him last week. It would have hit. The receptions would have hit. So we're back on it. Jonnu Smith being a focal point of this Dolphins offense that is at home. We like the offense at home. Tua, things like that. I want Jonnu Smith over 47.5 receiving yards. I also want the Bucs team total over 25.5. They are an awesome offense right now. I think they've scored over 28 points in the last 4 games. And you can get the Bucs team total over 25.5 at -222, 122 right now on DraftKings, -122. The Bucs this year on the road are averaging 31.6 points per game. That's number 1 in the league. And the Cowboys are allowing 33.4 points per game at home this year. Those are numbers that are numbering. Those stats don't lie. So I will take the Bucs, also fighting for a playoff spot, all of those things. Love the way the offense is playing in Baker Mayfield. I like them to score 26 points. Finally, last play. May add more later. Not totally sure, but again, there won't be more than 2 plays. So it's 7 I have right now. I may add 2 more later, depending on what the Bills, the weather, what some of maybe the over-under goes down to. Josh Allen's rushing props aren't up yet, but I want James Cook over 65.5 rushing yards. He's hit this in 3 out of his last 5 games, but it's been really weird because it's like 100 and then 20 yards and then 80 yards and then 10 yards and then 100 yards. The Patriots can't stop the run. Christian Barmore now is out. He's their best lineman on the Patriots. That was just announced today. The Patriots are like 25th in the league stopping the run. Wind could be a factor. I think they run the ball a lot. I think the Bills will get up early. And so when James Cook gets at least 10 carries, he has hit that in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has gone over 65.5 rushing yards. So that's the key. If we can get James Cook 10 carries in this game against New England, I like our odds a lot. So if the Bills are up early, if the weather's a factor, My favorite play of the week is James Cook over 65.5 rushing yards. The Patriots rushing defense has been awful. Don't take my word for it. Take Mike Giardi from the Boston Sports Journal. Talked to him earlier this week. Here's what he had to say about the Patriots rushing defense.
It's almost every week. If you go and look at it, it's like staggering how much they've been emasculated in the run game every single week. It's like, do something, do anything, do the opposite, do the George Costanza, the opposite of what you think is right. Do the opposite. Maybe that'll work. They don't adjust. It's, oh, God.
So yeah. So all of that factored in, I think that the Bills offensive line has been phenomenal this year. They're up early. I think they put it away on the ground with James Cook. It's tough because it is pick your poison. Josh runs a lot. Ray Davis gets involved. Ty Johnson we saw last week. So it is kind of a revolving door. So I understand why it's tricky sometimes to pinpoint exactly who's going to get a lot of the carries. But if James Cook gets 10 plus carries, which I think is likely because the Bills will be up, there's a good chance he goes over 65.5 rushing yards. So there's the 7-pack of plays. Steelers plus 6.5. Steelers Ravens under 45. Lions minus 6.5, Rams minus 3, Jonnu Smith over 47.5, Bucks team total over 25.5, and James Cook over 65.5 rushing yards. Also, special shout out to Buzzy's brother Bill. Shout out to you there. Always doing great stuff. Shout out to Bob Johnson Auto Group. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Put your picks in the comments below, what you like best this week. Always appreciate the support for this video, as I've said before. People have sent me screenshots that they're parlaying all my picks together. Not maybe the most financially responsible thing, but I appreciate the support for throwing a buck on it and seeing what happens. So really do appreciate it. Read all the comments. Again, we got to get more over 500. We are now just one game over 500, but we need to push that up. So appreciate it as always. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Best of luck to your plays this weekend. And we'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel, presented by Connors and Ferris.